Ang chocolate, dili lang ni pagkaon para sa mua. Isip usa ka farmer, ang chocolate kay product niya sa mong hago, pagpanikamot ug lab sa mong trabaho. Pero tungod sa padayon ang climate change, dako ang epekto sa ato ang cacao industry. Wala tay ma-produce na cacao. Ug wala tay solusyon nga ma-action, mawala pod ang cacao industry. Kung mawala ang cacao, mawala pod ang trabaho nga nagasustento sa mua.
So, ang cacao is dili na nato original nga tanom diri sa Pilipinas. It was introduced through the galleon trade during the Spanish time. Ang Davao region is very suitable siya for planting cacao.
We have this good humidity atmosphere. The soil that we have a rich soil. Because of its contribution to the commodity sector, development or activity in the region propelled the acceptance of the cacao into a national priority crop.
Naatay almost 80,000 farmers nga dependent on cacao farming sa Pilipinas. 90% of the production came from Mindanao. And 78% of the total production came from Davao region. 58% produced by Davao City. Kaning ato mga local processors are mostly mga artisanal, tree to bar. Na sila ilang tree, makaproduce silang ilahang chocolate. Isa na sa mga reason why we became the chocolate capital of the Philippines. As of 2024, ang value sa Philippine chocolate market niabot na siya sa 419.11 million US dollars o projected na siya nga moabot og 707.52 million US dollars by 2030.
Before ko nagsulod sa culture kay naragyo sa ko sa balay, wala ko trabaho, nag-asa lang po ko sa kumbana, sa income. Sa una gyud is makaingon jud ko nga unstable among financial dito sa una sa Davao de Oro kay kanang pait jud mi in case labi na kanang emergency, magkautang-utang yun mi. Di na ko siya ma-explain kay karon nga nagsulod ko sa culture nga kana makita nimong cacao nga healthy siya nga true sa imong hinaguan. Kana makita nimo nga na imo harvest kay tungod na pud sa imong pag-atiman. Tapos gipili na ko siya nga trabaho kay sukad pa sa una is gusto gyud ko farming. Among savings is makaingon po ko nga kuan. Kanang di man kay siya ingon nga dako pero naagi mi makuha og in case of emergency. Tapos sa among napunta is na napod mi sarili nga motor. Kuan nakapalit na pud mi last 2023 og 2 hectares na yuta sa Davao de Oro. Mao gyud na among goal pod nga mag-cacao farming mi pohon. Gusto po na mo ma-apply among nabalan gani. Ma-apply na mo dito sa among farm.
Recently there was El Nino, less water, less rain. It affects the production and then also affects the output of the beans.
Global issue naman yun ang climate change, no? When we say climate change, extreme siya. So kung sobra og taas ang init, of course, affected yun ang ato ang cacao, especially pag open ang iyang area. Dili ma-convert to bunga ang iyang bulak. It's because there's no water.
Yung water stress for the plants here in sa industry natin, no? So from climate change, our water is unpredictable, either sobrang extreme rainfall or drought.
Davao City is nasa type 4 climate ta. Itong niagi nga dry spell last year, ang nahitabo niya due to taas nga init na supply ang sunlight requirement sa cacao. Kita nimo karon ang volume sa beans, perting daghan na.
Mga March, April, May, and then there was very big harvest, but it kept on raining. So the problem was you do not have enough drying facility to dry the beans, and then if you don't dry it properly, it becomes moldy. Yeah, it's a very big problem.
Intense rain, and because of the humidity, taas ang incidence on pest, especially disease.
Pod rot and cacao pod borer as a #1 enemy of cacao farmers in this area. If there's too much rain, there's could be a few changes on the flavor profile. If it's really, the soil is wet and it gets a lot of moisture.
It's interconnected, the flavor, the weight, the size, the market, the economy.
So a decline in production means there is less money coming into the farmers. Then they don't have money to buy inputs into their farm. They will prioritize food, they will prioritize their basic needs. And when that happens, or leaving the cacao trees to be susceptible to diseases, you will have less fruit and you will now look for another job. It's a cycle, and it's very sad that that's a situation that's happening.
Sa Africa nga mao man gyud na sila ang major producer, dako kayo ang nahimong loss of production sa ila because sa init. So ang uban nilang tanom is namatay gyud.
Production levels decreased by 30-35%. So that's a very big number. So that's why the production died, and then naturally prices spike.
Nato ang wheat beans is naa sa 125 ang kilo. Last November, ang ato ang dried beans ning abot siya og 380 per kilo.
Cacao farmer is nalibay jud ko kay mahal gud ang presyo, so dako ang income.
That's good for the farmer, but also it's bad for the processors, because the processors now have to pay so much money to make chocolates.
I think there needs to be a balance, but we take into account what's happening in the global scenario, and then we adapt certain business strategies based on that.
Through this planting of cacao, it helps mitigate even the global climate. At the same time, it minimizes the runoff, and it provides a good habitat of the in the ecosystem. So the plant itself, cacao, since it is a tree, aside from producing a fruit, also absorbs carbon dioxide. We call that a carbon sink. So it's a multi-purpose commodity. Right now, we're trying to develop a tailor pit system or technologies that can mitigate the effects of this climate change. So we have this climate risk vulnerability assessment, or CRVA, for agriculture, where we look at which are areas that are potential for growing cacao, and even rehabilitation of these old unproductive trees and farms. The cropping system, or they even call that diversified farming system, or incorporating a tree crop with forest crop, that is agroforestry. These are a very good nature-based solutions to climate change, systems which we embrace, no? And then we introduce to farming communities so that we can grow different crops within a certain area, and harmoniously they could provide fruits or products. The Department of Agriculture, through the Adaptation Mitigation Initiative in Agriculture Program, or DAMIA, we are now developing a system wherein we transform this climate-based information for this weather and climate outlook into a information material that can be followed or provided to the communities through our Climate Information Services Agro-Climatic Portal. We have a quarterly and even 6 months calendar of the climate will likely to happen in the next few days, in the next few months, and even a year. So this is actually a preventive measure, especially when there is a calamities that would come.
We've already adopted a lot of changes also from a conventional way of farming cacao. 2023, we've already full stop. We don't use herbicide anymore, no, the weed killer. It's very harmful to the soil. Just take care of the soil. The microbes are there. They will multiply, and these are your soldiers. And these soldiers will help you keep your trees healthy. We've been applying biofertilizer, I think, 4 years na siguro. This product is made by Davao Thermo Biotech. The biofertilizer, they collect biological waste from all over Davao City. The waste of poultry growers, they collect it and convert it into fertilizer. And then they bring it to the facility. They put a sort of an M sign on the pile, and then it ferments the biological waste. The byproduct is a fertilizer. And then basal application. So far, we've observed that it's very good. And whatever we apply to cacao will also affect other crops planted around the area. Farm yield here is about 1.5 kilos dried beans per tree per year. We have about 12,000 trees.
We want to go to organic farming, mahirap siya with my climate change. So double or triple the effort. So WasteX is a climate startup group. Nilapitan kami ni WasteX to help us, no, in our operations. So the product of WasteX is tinatawag nating biochar. Upon harvest, of course, you have the pods, no. What we do is to shred them first for easy burning. Cacao pods na. We now feed it to the WasteX carbonizer. The process called pyrolysis happens, no? So pyrolysis is process of burning material in the absence of oxygen. So we do that para yung mga feedstock hindi siya maging ash. So same pa rin ang composition niya paglabas. Some of the nutrients are still there. After harvesting it, may term silang tinatawag na charging. So we charge the biochar, putting biofertilizers or fungi or anything that helps, no, before putting it in the trees. This has been soaking for 24 hours. So pwede na siyang i-harvest, and then we can now apply it to the field. We use the PVC pipes, no? We call it the optimum root zone irrigation. We dig a hole then, tapos cover them with biochar. So doon ka na magdilig, diretso siya sa roots, no? Wala kang pests and diseases masyado, karen weeds masyado kasi tuyo yung taas mo, sa baba na yung diretso ng ano. So it's really efficient, no, and effective. Biochar increases the crop yield and quality. And there is increase in the microorganisms. Plus, it's good for the environment because yung carbon is binaon mo, which is meant na for the atmosphere sana. The use of biochar is one of the most cost-effective way to decrease carbon in the environment. Aside from biochar, we also use mycobam. So mycobam is a mycorrhizal fungi, was developed in UP LabTech. It's a biofertilizer. Myco from Latin for fungus and rhizal for roots. So yung roots niya, magkakaroon pa ng maliliit na invisible, they call it the hyphae. The nutrient and the water uptake is better to give the fruits a better taste, a brighter color, and heavier. Kasi meron kaming bananas din dito. So, we use the banana pseudostem, yung trunk niya after harvest, to increase the population of the pollinators. Yung pseudostem na, it's an organic waste na, we cut it into smaller pieces and then we put it trees. Yung pollinators of cacao, called the midges, they use it as their habitat. So more pollinators, more possibility of cacao set, so mas maraming bunga. Pag na-decompose na yung banana pseudostem, they become fertilizer for the tree, plus the decomposing organic matter ng pseudostem is food for the earthworm. They go up and down your soil, so that's the source of your aeration and drainage din. They excrete the nutrient-rich casting. And during drought naman, your soil is compact and syempre wala tayong tubig, so plants need water. IV drip line irrigation. First, we use the PET bottles, and then we use this. This is the drip line yung ginagamit sa dextrose. So dito lang yan, hang here, and then lagyan ng water. We use it only during drought. Davao is unique and distinct from others. I think first is the flavor profile, more fruity, more nutty and floral. Those are the characteristics that are sought after for premium chocolates, Thank you. Taste test.
First off, before you eat your chocolate, you have to smell. A well-made chocolate has a snap.
Ang iyahang notes is na siya'y berry, na dried fruits.
Little sweet and medyo may pait.
Tastes really premium.
Lami.
Sarap talaga ng lokal.
Walay pwedeng mahimo nga chocolate gawa sa cacao. Nana po siya ka-special.
We have a strong belief that rising tides lift all boats. The industry does well, then everyone does well.
It's important that the whole community enjoys, not only the retailer that enjoys the profits. It has to be the whole value chain.
It all boils down to practicing sustainability and empowering the farmer.
Right now, we exchange practices and sharing information.
So we have the good genetics already. It's just a matter of really taking good care of the trees.
Ma-actionan ang tanato dayon ang climate change and kana mas mudaghan pa ang atong production sa cacao and mas matabangan pa nato ang cacao farmers.